What steps are you going to take? That's the session that we're talking about now. My name's Todd, tax attorney, CPA, and certified financial planner. Again, what steps are you taking to protect your assets? Now, when we talk about protecting your assets, that is from the claims of creditors. When we think about that, we think about an automobile accident. Well, hey, I have my automobile insurance coverage. Or if there's an incident at the home, my homeowner's insurance is going to cover that. So when was the last time that you sat down with your PNC agent and had them review your policy? Well, let's think about this. What if a windstorm came through, not a tornado, but just a windstorm, and you had some rain damage? Why don't you run through that scenario with them and say, hey, you know what? If I incurred some rain or water damage through a windstorm, that severe thunderstorm, what's going to be covered, and what if it drains down through the first floor into the basement and destroys some things in the basement? What's going to be your coverage? Because you know what, right now, you got to make sure that things are covered, because there's these exclusions that they may say, this policy covers rainstorms, but it doesn't cover wind damage. And you said, well, I'm not going to have the rain damage from the water if the wind didn't pull the shingles off of my house. So that's just a scenario. So what steps are you going to take to protect your assets? And those are the assets in which you have earned through sweat equity. Well, that's where we review your PNC policy. No, I'm not a property and casualty agent, but I know, given my law background, that policies exclude certain things such as wind damage, because they may say, the wind damage caused the shingles, and therefore, we're not covering that, even though the wind had to pull the shingles off to have the water damage. Now you know. So think about that for a second. What's the steps to take? Number one, call your PNC agent and just say, I want to review the policy. What certain things should I be aware of that you are not covering? What if somebody came in and stole some things during a dinner party? You know, this odd person out, somebody's date shows up. Next thing you know, you don't have some jewelry in the house. Is your homeowner's insurance coverage going to cover that? You may have the deductible, but that's a great question. What if they lifted $15,000 of jewelry and you had a $1,000 deductible? Is the homeowner's insurance policy going to cover that? That's a great question for your PNC agent. So again, the steps I would recommend you taking is to call your agent and have them review your policy with you. Also, let's think about this. You go on date night, have another couple join you in the back seat of the car, and something transpires. What is your coverage? Is it 100 total, or is it 100 per person, meaning per passenger? Because if all four of you got hurt, is it going to cover you $400,000, $100,000 per person? Or is it going to be based on 100 total, meaning each one gets 25? Anything above the 25 is going to be uncovered. Wow, that's a great question too. Is it 100 for the entire car, or is it 100 per occupant? So again, the steps to take, again, being the host here on the Professional Edge, it's not about the investments. It's not about the estate plan. It's not about the tax plan. Sometimes it's just about making sure that you're covered just in case that unfortunate incident, to add value to what you're actually doing. It's a good call to make. Do it on a rainy afternoon. Just say, hey, Jim, or hey, Sandy, I want to review my policy. What about that occupant? There's four of us going to dinner. Are you going to cover us for $400,000, or are we limited to $100,000? That's a great scenario to pass by them. Might be shocking to find out they're only going to cover the entire occupants of the car for a total of $100,000. Therefore, you're only going to get $25,000 a piece, and if you've looked at any recent medical bills, those will easily be exceeded by $25,000. So again, steps to take: call your PNC agent and review your policy to make sure that you understand what's covered. So that's a step to take. What's the next step you can take to protect your assets? Well, let's think about this. A lot of people don't think that death provides an opportunity to protect assets. Well, being a tax attorney and providing over 2,500 estate plans and drafting them, death is actually an incredible mechanism to protect assets. So when I say that, I'm not being morbid, I'm just saying it's a natural occurrence. It's going to transpire on every listener here on the Professional Edge. But what if we did this? We, passed away and we left our assets in trust, or let's say that mom and dad are getting a little feeble, been meaning to update their estate plan. Why don't you update the estate plan and have them leave the money in trust for you? Why would we do that? We want to be able to spend it. Well, if it's drafted correctly, you can spend the money. You can actually be the trustee over those funds, be the only sole beneficiary. But you know what? Inside that mechanism then, when it gets funded through their passing, meaning it's a testamentary trust, they keep full control until they pass away, and then the assets come inside that trust. You can be the trustee, you can be the beneficiary, but it is an irrevocable trust. Therefore, it's creditor proof. But what if I need money to go to Disney World? Well, you're the trustee and you're the beneficiary. Look at yourself and say, hey, I want to go to Disney World. You say, great, let's do it. Cut a check. Out we go and put the magic ears on. So that's one very good way to, steps to take to protect your assets. We do some planning and take advantage of a person's passing to protect those assets. Yes, we all are going to pass away, so why not maximize that? So the steps to take is that. What if you, bought some Amazon stock way back when, and we have a very low cost basis in that stock, and we want to try and diversify our portfolio just a little bit? Well, we can give mom and dad some of that stock, and yes, they would get your basis at fair or at whatever you paid for it. It's a carryover basis when we gift things, but then if you receive that back upon their date of death, you get a fair market value step up in basis. Now, there's some time requirements. Can't be that dad sitting on his deathbed and you hand him over the Amazon stock and then he dies the very next day and you get it back and you can sell it without any capital gains. Doesn't work that way. As a listener here on the Professional Edge, we got to do it right. So therefore, the steps you need to take is why don't you plan ahead and not react to things? And therefore, it's going to be a more positive experience. To start that conversation, give our office a call at 877-654-9798. That number again, 877-654-9798. Not telling you to do anything illegal. That's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to plan appropriately and take advantage of different things that happen to people. So, again, what steps do you need to take? It may make great financial sense if your marriage or you're in business and you're in a high-risk profession, let's say a doctor, and you're about to inherit some money. Well, let's modify that estate plan and leave that money in trust. Let you be the trustee. Let you be the beneficiary. But now those assets are creditor-proof. That's an incredible planning opportunity. So again, the steps to take, we can't do this after the person has passed away. The only thing that we can do is do this before they pass away, implement the plan, and guess what? Take advantage of that. Now we've protected these assets from the claims of creditor, still give you complete access and control over those, and that's just another planning thing that we do. Being a tax attorney, again, with 25 plus years of experience, we do try and maximize what the client is actually doing. So what's another step that we can take? Well, we've talked about this time and time again here on the Professional Edge, but it's a great time to refresh this, is steps to take. You have some of these properties that you're holding, or you're thinking about being a real estate investor, going to buy this rental house. Well, guess what? A lot of individuals are holding these rental houses or these condominiums down along the panhandle that they're renting out, and they hold them in their individual names. Well, the liability, again, you have to ask your P&C agent if you are, quote, not renting this, and then all of a sudden you start renting this, whether they're going to cover you for that liability, or because you're lackadaisical and you haven't changed your policy and something happens, then they can deny that claim. That's the unfortunate side of things because, quote, you didn't identify this as a rental property. If it was, we would have a different policy for you and a different premium. Therefore, we're denying coverage. The only time you're going to find out is when you make a claim and they deny the coverage. Well, be proactive. Call your P&C agent and just say, you know what, I do have a rental property down in the Panhandle, and I'm renting it, let's say 2 months a year. So therefore, if something happens, is this the right policy for me to have in place? That's a great step to take. So where's the other thing that we need to do? Well, if we have that rental condo and we have it in our individual name, we have exposed all the other assets that we own to the claims of that potential lawsuit. And if the balcony fails, you will be sued as the owner of that condominium unit, even though you didn't go out and inspect that. It's part of the exterior of the building. I'm sorry, I'm in your unit. You should have known, or you should have not allowed me to go onto that failing balcony and fall or plummet to my passing. So in comes that lawsuit. If you have it in your individual name, you will be exposed, all your other personal assets, to the claims of that potential lawsuit. So when we look at that, why don't we, take a step to protect your other assets? And that's where we put a liability fence around that property. And therefore, we, can hit the policy limits, and B, sign over the deed, but we're not going to, lose the other assets in which you have your home up here in Georgia or Alabama, your stock account, your bank account, your automobiles, your boat, your things of other value. So again, that's another step you need to take. Don't put it off. It's easy to say, I'm going to get to that tomorrow. Just like what we've talked about, the steps to take if you have old 401k accounts or old IRAs and you haven't been looking at your investments. Well, things are changing. We have some inflation. We have some different sectors which are completely on fire, which means they're doing very well. Some sectors are being abysmal. They're not performing very well at all. So therefore, things are changing. The administration changed. We know who's going to be the president for the next 4 years. So with that in mind, what actually have you done to reposition your portfolio? And sometimes it takes selling a little bit of your winners to reposition to take advantage for the next set of winners. So again, to have that conversation, to sit down, we can send you the list of items we would want to take a look at. Give our office a call at 877-654-9798. That number again, 877-654-9798. The other great step to take is to go to emcthebundle.com. That is Echo Mary Charlie thebundle.com. And take a look at that. We put together over $10,000 of professional services to put that in place for you as a listener here on the Professional Edge for a very reasonable amount. My office oftentimes says, you're killing me, because this is so much work that they're getting a tremendous value and they don't even realize it. Well, I'm here to tell you that is a tremendous value. We've had that conversation, and I just want to give you something back for being a valued listener here on the Professional Edge. Again, visit that at emcthebundle.com. That is Echo Mary Charlie thebundle.com, emcthebundle.com. So what's the next step you need to take? Well, as soon as we get off here, the next step is don't get busy with life. What you need to do is take a step in a proactive manner to move the needle forward. You know yourself if you have your estate plan done, or it's stale, it's on some document that is of legal size paper. That's number one. And number two, it's as thick as a placemat, and it sort of takes up all the space in the safety deposit box. You know who I'm talking to. You've been ready to get this updated. Well, here's the wake-up call. Get the steps in place and take that first step. Give our office a call and get your estate plan updated. We know you're going to need it. The second thing is get your tax planning going, because we know we're already almost halfway through 2021. I know, blink of an eye, it's halfway gone. So make sure your tax plan's in place too. And number three, of vital importance, is to make sure that you are on that safe and secure track for your retirement. Even if you are in retirement, there is value added of working with a registered investment advisor. That's who we are, estate management counselors. My name's Todd, tax attorney, CPA, certified financial planner, host here on the Professional Edge. Thanks for joining us.
With today's financial markets, are you getting the personal and professional attention you and your money deserve? Clients of estate management counselors benefit from having one set of professionals advise them on their tax, estate planning, and investment advice. We call that the Professional Edge. Todd is a tax attorney, CPA, and certified financial planner. With over 15 years' experience, he welcomes the opportunity to assist you in preparing for retirement, implement effective tax planning strategies, and to help you properly plan your estate. His radio show, The Professional Edge, is aired weekly on Sundays at 9 a.m. If you're interested in meeting with call his office at 877-654-9798. That's 877-654-9798. Do you want to feel more confident about making the right investment, tax, and estate planning decisions? Today, these decisions are more complex than ever. Have you thought about working with a professional advisor and not sure who to turn to? Not sure what qualifies one to be an advisor? Todd is more than qualified as a tax attorney, CPA, and certified financial planner. Is with Estate Management Counselors. Estate Management Counselors operates as an independent fee-only investment advisory firm. They're dedicated to gaining a personal understanding of their clients' objectives and implementing professional counsel and advice to achieve those objectives. So take a second to talk with Todd to learn how you can benefit from their multidisciplinary practice where they coordinate their clients' legal, tax, and investment strategies into one comprehensive and integrated plan to enhance and protect their clients' financial security. You can reach estate management counselors and speak with Todd by calling 1-877-654-9798. That's 1-877-654-9798.